Murder, She Wrote, kill the instrument until it was a dead beat like a dad was, whoever that was. And that has been her story. Retelling her life in these lyrics, rapping over these instruments have been so instrumental to her life to provide relief. So when they say her project is going to be released, you gotta wait for it. She has more patients than clinics, hospitals, a doctor. She jokes with her mom, telling her, I could be a doctor, but I love rapping so much. As she looks at her saving account, realizing how much hip-hop has saved her. I have never had to stress myself in this way, in the sense of just like, traditionally, like my poetry is about like soft masculinity, mental health, communal love, the black experience. So when I was asked to, create something around hip hop has always been a muse. Like I enjoy hip hop. I take in all the culture of it. I represent the culture and just like how I dress and how I address people. But creating some art about it directly, like you're gonna see hip hop in my mannerisms, from just like my hand gestures to just like my banner in between the crowd. But to talk about it so directly, I had to really pull for myself of just like the stories that I had witnessed of people. And one of the stories that I had witnessed was just like being in the studio session with my homie, and she was just like, not only was just doing something and telling this story that I had experienced with her, but it was also just like so inspiring that she was not worried about the rent or all these other things in her life as far as like financial stability, because she was just doing so well with hip hop and how that has saved her. And so like when we saw her mom later that day, one of the things that she was joking with her mom was just like, I could be a doctor, but I love fucking rapping. Oh, I don't know if I can curse. Okay, cool. And that was just like, that was like the the thesis of the night of just like, yo, this is really dope. And also you're really dope because you could do so much more, but you're doing something that is like fulfilling in a way that maybe isn't other things are not. I have seen those in mourning, all ready so they don't have to get ready. Ready for what their heart can't prepare for. Dressed to kill, like they're in the military where they're just militant, trying to fight for a before of who they were. Because they have seen Boys to Men, when they can stand the rain from this new edition, originally who they were, they can't get that before. So they live with this grief. This grief stays with them like a bad roommate that won't pay overdue bills they build from the pieces that used to be whole, because they can't hold themselves together. So they in this gathering, preparing themselves for what their heart can't be ready for. I do spoken word, so spoken word is a genre of poetry where it is about the performance and how you can utilize the stage. And that was a big part of my career, just like trying to get on every single stage and platform that I could think of. But nowadays, I'm more venturing into what they consider like visual poetics, where I'm thinking so much of just like how my poems are interacting with images and animation and showing it in a more visual way with the words than I am just like trying to be on stage. So I'm working with animators where I'm creating like 15, 20-second animations of just like lines from my poem. I'm working on a comic book that is represented from just like poetry that I have done numerous times on the stage, but then I'm building a whole comic book around it. So those are the ways that my poetry is shifting, where I'm expanding myself, mainly because just like one, I love art, and the biggest reason why like my career went from just like making show money, which was just like $100 to $200, was just like expanding myself to the artist space where I'm like $300,000, because there was such a community there that one I love, but also just like there was people in the room, but also outside of the room that was then talking about the art when I was marrying it with something else. Because it's just like, if you hear a dope poem, you'd be like, yeah, I heard this dope poem tonight. But if you experience some art and it has some of my poetry with it, you're now passing it on. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, yo, here's a copy of this like picture that someone drew and stuff like that, and it has my words associated with it. So you don't have to be there for the experience of my poetry anymore, but you're still interacting with it. And once I started getting those responses, that's when I really just started venturing off. And then also I just had like it was like part of just like who I am, because like I love animation, I love cartoons. Only way I really consume reading is through graphic novels and comic books. So it's just like it felt really nice, and that's where my art is right now.